Have you ever wanted to completely automate your top of funnel content? Well, you are in the right place. So, in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to string together out of the box platforms to create a really nice automated way to not only create blog content, but LinkedIn posts, Facebook posts, Twitter posts, IG posts, Reel and White and YouTube shorts, TikTok scripts, and content emails, along with developing a HeyGen avatar to basically support this content. And what are the platforms that we're going to basically use? The database is going to be using Google Sheets. So you should probably have this already. We're not going to use Airtable or anything too complex. For the survey, where you put in the information, we're going to be using Automate Scale, which is basically a white labeled version of Go High Level. If you're not familiar with what Go High Level is, I really suggest you check it out. It's a very powerful CRM platform that allows you to do a lot of different automations, emailing, reputation management, social media, the whole nine. It's great. For the automations, we're going to be using make.com. And for the agents, we're going to be using OpenAI and ChatGPT. That's going to allow us to really make these automations sentient in a way. And this kind of agentic approach to development is becoming more and more used. And when I show you guys this automation, you're going to be like, wow, there's a lot of agents here. So get ready for that. And for the file management, we're going to be using Google Drive, should have that already too. And then, like I mentioned earlier, for the video generation, we're going to be using HeyGen. And this is in training still. It's not perfect. I think we're a little ways off before we can just put our avatars out there and let them do all the marketing for us. But I do think that there's an area for it to be supportive in a way where it can complement other content pieces. So I did want to develop that. Just a little bit about who I am, because maybe you're just seeing me for the first time now. And basically, I built one of the number one automation agencies on Upwork, and we've been doing it for a very long time. It's called Automate Scale. And even before the AI craziness, we've been really focusing on evergreen automated funnels and things like that. And we've worked with thousands of clients. We've helped people launch 7 and 8 figure evergreen product launches many times over. We worked with a lot of great people, and we've been doing this for a while. Just been very, very bad at LinkedIn. But with all the automation and AI stuff coming out, it's very exciting right now because we can start to make funnels so powerful, much more powerful than we were able to do in the past. So what are we going to cover in this video? What this automation does, and basically that's going to get all the content ready for you to edit it and post manually. It's not just going to post on its own, but it's going to put it all into files so someone on your team or you can just copy and paste it to whatever platform. Can we can post automatically, but we just don't want to with this one. We want to just kind of put it out there and then be able to manually do it. When we get really dialed in with this, sure, maybe we'll have some type of switch built in that will just post automatically. But for right now, we just want to get it all into files. And the greatest thing about these types of automations is that once they're built once, they can be constantly improved and they get better and better, which is very exciting because even now this thing's functional and it has been for some time. So how does this start? Basically, we're going to put information into this survey that I created on automatescale.com. And again, this is a GHL survey that we white label through the Automate Scale. If you guys need help with GHL, just let me know. I can hook you guys up. We build this survey here. And once someone goes through this survey, it's basically going to trigger this right here. It's going to trigger a webhook into make.com, which is right here. So that person fills out this survey. It's going to go into this automation, and then it's going to be put into this spreadsheet, which is essentially our database. So you can see from webhook to the Google Sheet right here. So once that data is collected, like let's say we put in some information right here, and I'll just put in what was already kind of there. So you guys, I'll spell automation right though this time. So let's do that, and we'll be able to spot the difference when we see, oh no, it wrote it correctly there. But let's just put that in. Then you put in a main keyword. Let's just say LinkedIn automation, secondary keyword, building authority in LinkedIn, and automate your tofu. Word count, so 1877, fantastic year. And external links. So this is something that we like to do in our blogs, is basically be able to have external links that they can click to, and having internal links. But I have this random Forbes article that I just Googled. I'll put that in here. And then we'll put, for the internal links, automatescale.com. Other instructions, nope. And so once that's done, that's going to go into here. It's not on right now, but it would be going through here. It would be hitting this webhook, sending that data in, creating the row in the sheet. So that gets then added. That would pop up right here. Maybe it is. I think it is running actually. And then we set these variables so we can split up some of the comma data into JSON for later. And then what we're going to do is generate the outline first. So the reason we do that is because we want the agent to provide a well-rounded outline, because we're next going to pinpoint specific parts in that outline that we're going to concentrate on, versus just saying, hey, write an article about this, and putting that all onto one agent, because that's how you get just diluted robot content, which is not useful for you in any way, shape, or form, right? You want, if you're going to be producing content, you want it to resonate, you want it to be valuable, you want it to click with people. So if you're not, then that's really a big problem. So along with the outline, we're then going to create a header for the blog. And when the agent creates the output, it's going to be in Markdown language. And the reason we do that is because we want to identify areas for later. But in order for it to create the outline, we need to transfer it first into HTML, because Google likes that in their docs more. So once the outline is made, it's going to pop up in the summary here, and it's going to show up like something like this. And what, again, we're going to try to do is take little chunks of this and get into more depth, but also still provide the agent with context. Because if we just say, oh, concentrate on this one little part, but it doesn't know the rest of the outline, there's going to be a problem there. And so what we're doing is we're splitting it up. We're splitting up each of those parts by new line. So every time there's a new line, we're going to split it up. But we don't want to split up every line. We only want to split up different areas. And that's why we kept that markdown, because we want to be able to identify where each section starts and begins. And once we identify the section, that's when we'll use another agent to dig in to that subject, to that little piece more and more. And for some of these sections, we're actually going to divert them to actually write a little bit different, like break it out into a sub outline and things like that. And this is going to help with the readability. This is going to make it not so each piece looks the same, but it's going to always look differently because it's randomly taking out sections in these summaries and then writing them with more outlines. So you never know which section is going to kind of be revisited, which is really awesome. Now, once we have all those sections laid out and written out, we're going to then aggregate those different sections and bring it back together, which is really cool. So we're basically pulling from these all same variable text called section texts. So whether it's coming from up here or over here, we're getting them all and then aggregating them. And then we're once again taking down that going from markdown language to HTML, so we can then put it into the file. And we're also developing a picture to use for the content piece. So what do you get when that happens? Well, here is the full blog. And so as you see, it really reads nicely. Like, I'm normally surprised when I go through these and I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty good information because it really breaks it out. And as you see, it'll link to the external. Here's the Forbes article right here. It links to whatever internal, if you had an internal blog article, it would go into here. And you see these, like, this is what I was talking about before. Like, you see this area. This is probably one of those areas that got re-hit because it creates like this little subcategory of, like, this one has the different numbers broken out. We have these different sections here, but it's really thorough. These usually read very nicely. And once that's done, we can go into the other different areas. So from the blog article, then we can go into the HeyGen script editor, and that's so that's going to be basically an agent that's dedicated to creating a HeyGen script. Then we have the LinkedIn post, which is an agent dedicated to the LinkedIn post, Facebook post, Twitter post, Instagram reel script, YouTube script generator. So all and email generator. So all of these things have a separate agent that is basically trained to knock each one of these out of the park versus having it generate for all of these. And then each time that happens, the file is generated, and then the sheets, the main database is updated with the link. So if we go into here, everything comes back to here. So you have the YouTube scripts, the X post, Facebook posts, the whole nine, and you can see each one. And again, each one needs to basically be trained individually, and you need to look at the stuff like this. This picture says IIN, like, it's not going to be really useful. So you do want to look at this stuff, just make sure it's all good. But it will keep getting better and better, and that's really what you need to key in on. Now, really quickly, if you don't want to actually plug anything in here, what's really cool is, let me show you here, the other way to generate content, and that is with the random content generator, which basically you just need to click this link. It's going to go to thank you, and then that is going to trigger, because I'm just using a web page view. So we use this as the trigger when they go to this particular thank you page. And then that's going to go into the webhook to make for the randomizer. So that's right here. So if we go into here, it's going to go to this webhook. And then what's going to happen is, depending on your business, we're going to train it to come up with 30 or 40 trending trending blog titles. So this one AI's job is just to come up with 30 to 40 blog titles that are good. And then this agent's job right here is to look at those 30 or 40 subject titles or blog titles and say, this is my favorite one. So we basically have two sets of randomization. We have the title generation itself and then the picker, two different agents, and then we set the favorite title. From there, from the favorite title, we have another agent coming up with the primary keyword, and then another agent coming up with secondary keywords. Once we have that data, we then make a HTTP request to the Google search of the blog title. And what we do is we look for authority websites that are talking about similar articles, and we filter out non-authority websites. So because we don't want to just link up with maybe a Reddit post or a Quora post, but we want to have it only authority stuff like Forbes, Founder, Fox, TechCrunch, Wired, etc. So only that is getting passed. Once that's done, we can take the links of these articles, normalize them, sanitize them, and then we put them into that randomizer sheet, which then gets pushed into the content generator that we saw earlier. So what this looks like is a similar table where we put the randomized stuff here. We actually also put like a little bit of a spin just to randomize it even more. Here are those links that it'll find. This is an internal one. And then once that information is all there, then it gets sent to the content machine, not the randomizer, but the titles right here. So it goes from here and then gets spit right into the beginning of this automation right here. So both of them, whether you do it as a random thing or you put it in the information here, it's all going to go into the builder. So I know we went through this pretty quickly. If you guys have any questions and want to get into the prompts and how that's all set up, please feel free to reach out. I'll probably do a more in-depth version of this where we can geek out a little more and start talking JSON and all that fun stuff. But more or less, that stuff's extraneous, and for the most part, like, it doesn't need to be so complicated. You can get a more slimmed down version of this and do it in probably an hour or two. I mean, this one took me a while because I was learning a lot of stuff on the go, but you can probably develop something more simple very quickly. But once it's set up, guys, it's really nice because you can just go into each one of these parts and adjust it and retrain it. And if you don't like what the agent's producing, it's just, you gotta test it, train it, test it, train it, and it'll get better and better. But this is the foundation here, guys, to really being able to automate and scale your whole entire content generation. And I'm using this now almost on the daily, and it's really saving me so much, not just time, but mental capacity of having to come up with this type of stuff regularly and be able to write it, and then think about also a YouTube post, and like, there's so much stuff going on, guys. So this will really help organize it. And like I said, your team can just come in, grab the stuff, post the stuff, and get them involved with the process here, because we're just getting started with agentic marketing like this. It's not going to go away. AI is not going to go away. Automation is not going to go away. These platforms are not going to get dumber. They're going to get smarter. There's going to be more features. So start getting a handle on this stuff now, so it's not so confusing later as the features grow, as the language models grow. It's just going to get more complex. So start to think about how you can get a foundation like this automation down. And I think you're going to be in a really nice place later. So I hope this has been useful. If it has been, please comment, like, share, do all of those things. It would be super helpful. I would be super grateful. And I really appreciate your time here. And again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to go through this with you. And hopefully, I'm helping your mind understand automation and the power that these platforms have. So, thank you. Bye bye.